for them to be talking the way they are, it's bold, and it's, I think, there's a ton of propaganda being used and all sorts of stuff, but I certainly don't see the PGA Tour trending downward at all. All the talent, 95% of the talent is here. You've got people like Tom Kim coming through who are, that's the future of our game. I don't agree with what Phil said last week. I understand why he said it because of the position he is in. But I don't think anyone that takes a logical view of the game of golf can agree with what he said.
Rory McIlroy speaking to the media ahead of the CJ Cup, of course, talking about LIV. Let's get more on Rory's comments from golf analyst Doug Bell, who is at Congaree Golf Club for this event. Doug, Rory back in front of the media, and Rory once again being asked about LIV Golf. He said, I understand why Phil said what he said, but the same thing could be said for Rory. You can understand why he's saying what he's saying. So what did you make of the comments and this ongoing verbal sparring between the two?
Well, Jeremy, the only time LIV makes headlines now is when they poke the bear. And we're talking about the PGA Tour. They say these outlandish things just to get a reaction. And that's the questions that Rory and Rahm and all the other top players get each and every week. And I think Rory, what he's saying has merit because there is more depth on the PGA Tour than LIV Golf, which has 54 players. Half of them, their better years have gone past them. So there is more depth. There's more quality of field. Yesterday at Congaree, I was out checking out the golf course, and I literally ran into Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, had a great conversation one-on-one with him. He is so excited about the future of the PGA Tour. Yes, he's been through some tough times here this summer, but he talked just eloquently about next year, these 14 premier events featuring the top players on the PGA Tour. He is so excited. And when you have a guy like Rory McIlroy, who's on the verge of being number one in the world, again, being your most popular golfer, being your main spokesman, I think the PGA Tour is still the top dog, and LIV is scratching to get headlines right now.
Okay, so Doug, when do we reach the point where the PGA just finally says, look, we're not going to talk about LIV Golf anymore. We're going to focus on us. They can talk all they want. We're done talking about LIV. When do we get to that point?
Jeremy, I don't think that's ever going to happen as long as LIV is around, because you have reporters, for example, this week, you have reporters that are here that haven't been covering the PGA Tour all year. And that's the questions they want to ask. So listen, it's here to stay for the foreseeable future. But I think, again, the PGA Tour has answered LIV with these premier events. The big announcement came yesterday. There will be 14 of them featuring the top players on the PGA Tour playing for big money. The only question I have, Jeremy, is what Jack Nicklaus brought up, and we'll only know a year or two down the road. Is the PGA Tour creating a two-tier system where you have the elite players playing these premier events and you have the players maybe 70 to 150 in the rankings playing secondary events? We'll have to see how that shakes out because, yes, the immediate future of professional golf will be very interesting over the next 24 to 36 months.
You mentioned Rory McIlroy. I mean, after that grueling run to the FedEx Cup, Rory's gone T2, fourth, T4 to start the season. Number one in the official world golf ranking is within reach here if he finishes first, wins the event, or finishes alone in second. What do you make of his game right now as he enters this tournament?
I think he's playing probably the best golf of his career. Now, he hasn't won a major in quite some time, but he is the elite player in the world. He wasn't just sitting around with a family. He's been playing a lot of golf on the DP World Tour, the IE European Tour. As you mentioned, he's had an opportunity to win 3 times, had those top finishes. And look at the world rankings with a first or second place finish. And if Scotty falls outside the top 10 this week, then Rory is the new number one. And again, he wants to be number one again. And I think the PGA Tour wants their most popular golfer to be number one. That would really solidify things for them. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think anybody on that list right there is playing better than Rory McIlroy.
Hasn't been number one since July 18th of 2020. 20, so looking to get back on top again. Okay, so this course, Congaree, is kind of designed more for international players. It said that it gives international players a little more favoritism here, much more like an Australian type of course designed by Tom Fazio. So I want to get a pick from you, Doug. Are you going with an international guy, or are you staying with a local pick when it comes to a winner for this tournament?
Well, Jeremy, this is a very unique place. And wait till you see it on television. There is no rough. If you miss the fairways, you're in these natural sandy dunes, and they're all over the property. There's nothing like it in the United States. And yes, there are some say that the guys from South Africa and Australia have the advantage. I don't know. I think you have to hit it long, you have to hit it straight, and you have to really be a good putter this week, Jeremy. On the stent meter, they're like 14. That's as fast as Augusta National. So the guy who I really like, and he hasn't been sitting around either. He won the Spanish Open in his home country by 6 shots, finished second at the BMW at Wentworth. We're talking about the big Spaniard, Jon Rahm. He's making his debut this week on the PGA Tour this fall. This is the only time we were going to see him on the PGA Tour this fall. I like Jon Rahm. I think this setup sets up perfectly for him. So maybe that answers your question. He's a European Tour guy. So, yeah, maybe game. You're right.
Yeah, and Rory to finish alone in second to go to #1 in the world. Our guy, golf analyst Doug Bell at Congaree Golf Club in South Carolina. Great to see you, Doug, and chat a little links with you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.